school, and then a little bit partnered off because it was you and Jeff Hardy. You faced Gunner and Kurt Angle, and then it kind of spun off where you kind of had your own little mini feud going on with Kurt, who has recently, retired. Well, he's gone from TNA, but I guess he has retired from the business. But what are your thoughts on Kurt Angle and kind of what he taught you?
Oh man, I you don't have enough time on this phone call for me to give you all the good things I have to say about Kurt Angle. He was another one, and he is such a good guy, and his mission is to help guys like me, the young guys coming up. And same thing, he is intense. He is one of the most, if not the most intense person I've ever been in the ring with. I mean, when you're in the ring with Kurt Angle, you know you're in the ring with Kurt Angle. You're not going to forget it for a few days afterwards either. It's so much fun, and his only goal in the match is to make sure that he's helping you learn and hone your craft and help do the job. He's a phenomenal teacher. He loves to do it. He has a passion for it, and like I said, I can't say enough good things about Kurt Angle. Every time I see him, I tell him thank you. He's a phenomenal guy.
Definitely a big-time legend in the business for sure, and I hope he isn't retired, but, if he is, what an amazing career he absolutely had. But you also had a good learning experience in your team with Devon Dudley for a while, who's now in WWE back again.
Mm-hmm.
Another great, guy to learn from under the learning tree. What was it like coming in and learning from Devon?
I had a blast working with Devon. He's my brother from another mother. Yeah, he was Devon. He's great, and we had a lot of fun. We worked some matches together where it was, were before I turned heel, and then, obviously they put us together in the Aces and Eights, so I got to do both sides with them. We tagged together as babyface. So I've worked with him, I've tagged with him, I've worked against him, so I got to do all a little bit of everything with him, and he's a blast to run with. And same thing, I can say the same thing about all these guys. They love to teach, and they have a passion for teaching, and they take it seriously. And if you go in there and you're humble and you're eager to learn, there's nothing that these guys won't do for you. Or to help you along the way. It's same thing. I still talk to Devon at least once, twice a month. Even if it's just a, hey, what's up, brother? How you doing? And same thing goes for Bubba. That's what these guys do. They have 3D Academy in Orlando. That's what they do. It's one of the best wrestling schools you can go to. That's what their passion is. They love to teach. They have a passion for teaching. They want to see wrestling 30, 40, 50 years down the road from now, 60 years down the road. They want the next generation to keep going. So if you're eager to learn and you can just show up and tough it out and shut up and listen, there's no better guys to help you along the way.
Definitely want to get into Aces and Eights in just 1 second, but I wanted to mention before you got into Aces and Eights, they kind of paired you up with Wes Briscoe, and it seems like you guys would have a lot in common as far as legendary fathers in the business. So did you guys gel very well together?
Yeah, absolutely we did. Same thing. Still one of my best friends to this day. Just talked to him the other day, actually. We had a blast. It was cool. It was cool because, like you said, it was, Briscoe and Bischoff, and there's some fun dynamics to work with there. We clicked right off the bat. It's the first, I think, by our second tag match, we were already kind of reading each other's minds. And we still tag together every once in a while. He lives not too far from me in Florida, and we still get together and do some small stuff just for the fun of it. Get back together, do some tagging here and there.
It's a great, great pairing. And, of course, now we're going to transition into Aces and Eights. We'll spend a couple minutes here because, like I said off the top, we've had other people on who were facing the group, but we've never had anybody in from the group who can give us the perspective, especially from your perspective, about it. Because on paper, as it started, could possibly have been one of the most innovative angles to come down the pike in years. I mean, it was just an absolute polarizing angle to start off. And as it was slow burning and it was starting to kind of develop, you really saw elements of how the story, got going. Now, when you were approached about joining the group, what were your thoughts about getting into something like Aces and Eights, being that it was you went from being the baby face to now an absolute hardcore heel with this awesome stable.
My exact words were, hell yeah. I saw the writing on the wall. I saw how people were acting to it, and I was like, absolutely awesome. This is just a cool, edgy, something that nobody's seen really since the NWO Degeneration X. So it was not brand. The idea of it was, what we were doing, the physicality of it was new, but the idea of it really wasn't. But nobody had seen it in a long time. Nobody had seen anything like this edginess and this raw, just nastiness since Degeneration X and NWO. Nobody, nothing, it hadn't been done again. So, in a sense, it was new and fresh, and it was a lot of fun. There was a real heat with that group that hadn't been seen in wrestling anywhere, to be honest with you, in a long, long time. We actually had people throwing stuff in the rings at us in Europe again. Nobody's done that since NWO. The ring was littered with trash by the time we left.
Oh, it was so awesome. It was such a great pairing at first. But, as it developed, what did you think about how the story got going? Because it was so dark and gritty to start off, and it was really raw. And I feel like as it developed, it kind of lost that edge once guys started to lose their mask. But when you went from being just, under the mask to being revealed, do you think that changed the dynamic of the group?
Me personally changed the dynamic of the group, or everybody as
Just do you think that when the mask started to come off each guy, that changed the dynamic of what the group was portraying on the air?
Well, yeah, but it had to. You can't do that forever. It had to eventually. Everybody had to be unveiled. That was part of the hype. So yes, it changed, but I don't think it was a bad thing. I think once we figured it out, you can only dangle the carrot for so long before people are going, okay, whatever, I'm going to go find a different carrot. So I think that timing was right, absolutely. The way that we were doing things, the coming through the crowd, all that stuff. It's all stuff that nobody had seen in forever. The backstage stuff that we were doing, taking people hostage, and it was a lot of fun. I think it ended.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say I think it ended too soon. I think there could have been a lot more we could have done with that. But you know what? That's my job was to show up and do what they asked me to do, and that was it. So that's what we did.
Without a doubt, those backstage segments were intense, and John and I always talk about the one that they had with Hulk being held hostage and looking for Joseph Park, which just, the Hulk Hogan dynamic as being the guy feuding against him was just absolutely unbelievable at that point. And having Hulk Hogan as really the main guy that you're feuding with just kind of raises the bar for the group itself, because you're going after the biggest guy, not just in the company, but the biggest guy in the history of the business. And that's where the slow burn came, with each guy becoming, revealed, and what their role was, either against TNA or letting people into the building. Was there anybody that was going to be in the group that then at the last second it was pulled? Because it seemed like the way some guys were kind of sprinkled in, that you really could have put anybody in the vest. It's almost similar to the NWO. You could have put anybody in the vest and they would have succeeded.
No, not necessarily. We kind of had an idea what was going to happen, or they did. I should say we had to make the decisions, but they knew what they were doing with it and who they wanted to go with it. There may have been a little bit of question on, for a little while on a few people, but for the most part, and it had nothing to do with other than just who was going to be the right fit. But no, there wasn't anything like that. They had a good idea of who they wanted. I do know that part of the one thing that they wanted to make sure not happen is grow it too fast. Too many people too fast. So that was good. They didn't do that, and I think that helped out a lot.
Oh, without a doubt, yeah, and it was such a long-standing feud, and that's another thing that you don't see anymore, really, in wrestling. You don't let the stories develop, and the Aces and Eights story was just one that really just captivated TNA television for so long. But you mentioned it coming to an end too soon, and I agree, and even though I'm saying that it was long, it still ended a little bit too soon. And when Bully Ray was revealed to be the leader of Aces and Eights, not that I'm saying it lost steam, I just feel like it really could have gone further with Bully being the guy dominating, the roster and then revealing himself. But what do you think about when he was revealed to be the leader and having him be that force in the middle of the ring each week for those promos? And he stepped up his game to another level as the top heel for TNA.
Yeah, no, I think it was a great fit. I mean, he portrayed that character extremely well. He's another very intense. When he's out there, he's all about it. And I think it was a great fit. I love working with Bully. I think he knows how to do his job to the best of anybody's ability, and it was fantastic. He knows how to make people hate him. If he knows how to make you hate him, and that's what we needed, and that's what he did.
Do you have a personal favorite Aces and Eights moment when you look back at it? Because obviously your reveal was pretty awesome. Wes Briscoe's reveal was pretty awesome. Even D'Lo's reveal was another really cool, shocking turn. But is there one Aces and Eights moment that really stands out to you?
Oh man, I'd have to say that moment when we were in Europe. When I told you when he ended up with the belt. And all that trash was coming in the ring, and people, there wasn't a soul in that building that wasn't booing or hating or MFing us or anything like that. And just that passion, that feeling that you get, I can't describe it. I can't tell you about it. It's just, all I can say is it was one of the coolest things I've ever felt.
Definitely. And obviously, Aces and Eights would have another lockdown match against TNA. Did you like, obviously, you would kind of get very well acquainted with those lockdown matches. Did you like having those matches? Pure chaos, a lot of weapons, a lot of stiff shots. Did you enjoy the lockdown match? Because it seemed to become one of your matches.
Yeah, I think I ended up in one each year for 3 years. Yep. I liked it. They're only once a year. I liked that I didn't have to do it more than that. But no, it's fun. It's chaos. And it's not even necessarily organized chaos. It's about as organized as it can get for, that many people in the ring, getting beat with trash cans and tables and anything else that, we got our hands on. So, but yeah, it's fun. Lockdown matches are always a good time. You kind of, it's like an old schoolyard rumble kind of, that feeling you used to get, you knew you were going to get in a fight after school. And all day long, the anticipation kind of built a little bit more, a little bit more nervous, a little bit excited, a little more nervous, a little more excited. And by the time you got to it, even if you got your ass kicked and you got punched in the head a dozen times, you don't feel it because your adrenaline's pumping. So, and that's kind of the same feeling I used to get before lockdown matches. You knew it was going to be a rumble. You knew everybody was going out there and, they're going to take care of each other, but everybody's going to go out there and bring it to the table. And that's what we did. I think the last one I did, that lockdown one, I ended up on the top of the cage, under a tower or on top of the tower, and I think I got suplexed off the top there.
Crazy spot, yes.
It was fun.
Definitely a crazy cool spot there. In TNA though, you even got to work with your old trainer, the Nasty Boys. You got in there with Sting, AJ Styles, Samoa Joe. So what was it like wrestling some of those guys? Because think about that, when you first start and to then being actually in the ring with some of those guys. It's like kind of a really cool moment. Like, wow, I trained with Knobs. Now I'm wrestling. When I'm the kid, I'm literally at the show watching Sting. Now I'm wrestling him. Is that like a cool thing for you?
It was very, very cool. And Sting was one of those guys that when I was growing up was always one of the nicest guys ever. He's just a really down-to-earth, cool guy. And it was a lot of it was a whole roller coaster of emotions, really, because, it is. It's like, man, I even though I knew you on a different level, because I was, Bischoff's kid running around backstage, but I was always still a fan. So being able to now be in the ring with them and working with them, it's an honor. Not many people in the world get to do something like that, and it's very, very grateful for the opportunity to be able to get in there with those guys. I can never say thank you to those guys enough because they could have gone the other way very easily. So it was very cool feeling.
And then obviously, like I mentioned, AJ Styles and Samoa Joe, who are both now, in WWE and enjoying their life and their time up there. But when you're wrestling guys like that, do you kind of see them and think like, these guys are at the top of their game? These are the guys I want to be in the ring with?
Oh, absolutely. Samoa Joe. I mean, here's another way. Every time you bring up a name, I kind of have the same story. I guess I probably sound like I'm repeating myself, but it's only because, like I said earlier, all those guys are so professional and so cool. And I got to be in the ring with Samoa Joe a lot. I got to be in the ring with AJ Styles a few times, not as much as some of the other guys, but enough. And same thing. They're just so helpful. They're so eager to teach. If you're eager to learn, they're eager to teach. And, they're phenomenal athletes, obviously. I mean, Samoa Joe and AJ Styles, I mean, you can't not have a fun match with those guys. It's just, they're a blast. And they love what they do with a passion. And as long as you're in there willing to do the same and put up the same effort, then they're all about it.
And as I start to wind it down here, Ken Anderson kind of just made some big time news. He had some unpleasant things to say about TNA, I guess, as he exited the company. But you got a chance to work with him as well, and obviously he was a part of the Aces and Eights. But his pile driver to you kind of just, and obviously storyline related, but it kind of ended your run there. Was that a little bit of bittersweet? Did you want the TNA run to end, or did you feel it had a little bit more legs, or were you gone and your dad were kind of gone at the same time?
No, at that time I didn't know that was going to be my end. But the last time I stepped foot on TNA stage, so there was, I had no idea that was going to be it. My actual contractual departure didn't take place till maybe a little more over a year after that.
Oh wow!
So. But you know what? It is what it is. Like I said earlier, that's how the wrestling business is. One minute you're going 150 miles an hour, the next minute you're not, and it is what it is. I don't hold a grudge. I'm not bitter. I don't hold hard feelings against anybody. It is. That's the business. So it's I say thank you to everybody that was a part of helping me out there. I had a great time while I was there. On to the next phase of my life.
Absolutely, and you're doing
quite well. I didn't read. I don't know what interview Ken Anderson gave. I didn't read it, so I'm not sure what he said or what it was. But I'm sure whatever it was, he feels what he feels. So Ken's a great guy though too. He's a great guy. He loves to hunt. He loves to fish. He loves outside. We try to go hunting together once a year if we can.
He basically he said two words. One begins with an F, and then the second one was TNA. So
there you have it.
Obviously, some legal issues and stuff like that came up with you can't really get into it too much with TNA, but I guess was there hard feelings on your end when they were basically gone from TNA?
Nah, like I said, I don't hold a grudge. I'm not bitter. I don't have time for it. It is what it is. Business is business, and things will work themselves out however they need to in the future. But I don't. If it's business is business. I don't hold a grudge. I don't have any hard feelings. I'm not bitter about anything.
Do you have a favorite match or maybe matches you had when you were there? You wrestled so many, like we talked about, so many good guys and so many good learning experiences. So any they pick out?
No, I really couldn't pick just one. They were all unique in their own ways. They were all different, and you kind of heard me repeat myself for the last half hour here about how much I like the guys that I worked with. So I couldn't pick just one, to be honest with you. They're all unique. So just different.
Is there any